Hello everybody, welcome to this quick presentation for Privileged Car Club. It's a brand new driving revolution, and this presentation will hopefully take you through all the stages. Our motto is simple: drive any brand new car of your choice for £50 per month, including road tax and comprehensive insurance for the named driver. Here's an example of a car that has already been funded. It's a Volkswagen Passat Estate, 2-liter turbo diesel, 150 horsepower, 5-door, automatic Blue Motion. So that's the spec on a basic level, and that would cost $28,365. It's the R-Line trim, but it has some extras included in it, which is why this particular engine car is worth $35,205, including all the extras. Now, Volkswagen's own spec sheet includes a finance offer from VW Finance, and they're offering with a 10% deposit that you have to pay, that's $3,520. They offer the rest on credit, where you end up paying £443 per month over 48 painful monthly installments. By the end of it, you've nearly paid $40,000 back to Volkswagen for a car that is worth maybe only $30,000 by the time you can push the price down a little bit by negotiating. And you still have a balloon payment to make at the end of it, which is $11,531. 32% is still outstanding after paying 48 painful monthly payments of £443, not including insurance. However, there is another way, and that's what I want to show you today. 10,000 miles is what they give you as an allowance. If you exceed 10,000 miles per year, you pay a penalty of 6.68 pence per mile, and obviously you have to add the cost of your own insurance as well. If you wanted to fund it, the same car, on a loan-free partnership basis, let's say you had 4 brothers or 4 sisters, 4 siblings that wanted to, or 4 friends that wanted to fund the car, they could easily pay 25% deposit, and 4 of them would contribute to the car without taking any credit, without paying any interest. It would be cash paid up front. They might get a cash buyer discount, but they will also, all of them, suffer whatever the depreciation percentage per year. 100% belongs to them. None of the depreciation is suffered by anybody else but them. The problem is £8,800, which is 25%, is still a big fat chunk, and it's not easy to raise this kind of money. Even 4 people won't be able to do it so easily. Even if they did it, it's still a problem, because you have 4 people paying for 1 car and only 1 driver can drive, obviously. So herein lies the problem. What we do instead is loan-free crowdfunding, same principle as a partnership, but instead you have 125 people contributing 0.8%. That still gives you 100% of the same budget. And within that budget, we can squeeze in road tax and insurance out of your total £30,000 budget. Now, it's a £35,000 car, but if you're buying cash up front, no loan, no credit, no outstanding, you're just picking up the unit and paying cash for it, you can drive the price down. This is something we do on behalf of all of our members. If possible, we can squeeze in an even more expensive car within the same budget, if at all possible. So a negotiated cash buyer can get the price down and get the same high-spec car for £30,000, including insurance and tax. So the members' share is a light burden. It's anything from 1.23% to 0.8% per member. It just means there are more members involved. That's the only difference. Mathematically, it's exactly the same as the previous partnership. No loans involved. It's cash paid up front, but you're involving a larger number of people. But how do you get this done? Very simple. First of all, to bear in mind, it's only possible on a brand new car, because you get a minimum of 2-year warranty on a brand new unit, 2 years of servicing included at the point of paying cash to purchase it, 2 years of comprehensive insurance for the driver, 2 years worth of road tax included in the budget, and for 2 years you get to be the registered keeper. And at the end of 2 years, replace this brand new car with another brand new car. By then, this would be 2 years old. But at the end of 2 years, you simply replace it with another brand new car funded in exactly the same way. There is no testing required, no MOT, and you suffer none of the depreciation because the depreciation belongs to the owner of the car, which is the club, not to you. You don't suffer any depreciation. You're just paying £50 a month for something that a finance company will charge you 9 times more, charging you £450 a month instead. We give you 15,000 very generously, 15,000 average annual miles. If you exceed, there is no penalty to pay because you're a club member and we are not using these vehicles on finance, so you don't get penalized for exceeding a certain mileage bracket. This is how it works. If the budget is 30,000 in total, the lion's share is used up by the car, some allocation left aside for 2 years worth of road tax, and then of course there's 2 years worth of insurance for 1 or 2 drivers, whoever is the named drivers. This 2-year budget is factored in, and if this amount was to increase, your insurance was much bigger than anybody else's for whatever reason, then of course you would have to reduce the budget of the car and you would go for a lower spec or a lower grade of a vehicle. But basically the 30,000 covers the cost of the vehicle plus the tax plus the insurance, and that's how you get a £30,000 budget. But how do you get the £30,000 budget? 3 conditions to get there. First condition, you need to be 3 months minimum within our system as a member. Nobody gets a car in less than 3 months. So you have to be a member with our club for a minimum of 3 months. You need to introduce just 3 members, only 3 members, not more. And you need to maintain 3 equal pools of funding. And I'll explain all of this. So the first condition is a timeline-oriented condition. Are you a committed member? The second condition is a growth-based condition, which is, are you growing? Are you working to grow this club and to help us fund more cars in the future? If you are, then you are satisfying the second condition. Third condition is balance. We need to make sure that everybody is treated fairly and everybody has an equally fair chance, and therefore are you an equitable member of the club? And this is how it started. This is how I got my car funded. I started somewhere in September. I paid £199 to join, and then I paid an additional 50 per month through October, November, December. But in the first 3 months, I did not qualify. Why? Because that's the minimum qualifying period. Nobody drives a car in that. It still took me a little longer. By January, February, I had qualified for a basic £20,000 car, but I wanted a £30,000 car, which was qualified towards the end of February, placed an order then, and the car will be delivered on the 1st of April. From the 1st of April, I will have 2 years to drive this car. So from April 2018 onwards, May, June, July, August, September, and so on, 2 whole years later, I will have the opportunity to replace that car with yet another brand new car. And in all of this time, I'll be paying 50 every month, and 199 all over again once a year. So the total cost is 199 plus 12 times £50, a maximum total of 799 per year. It's actually 749 per year, but I'm using a slight overlap here simply because this takes care of 15 days worth of refund period in case somebody wanted to drop out. That's no problem. You can get your refund within £199 refunded within the first 15 days. But the 50 is actually used to pay for a car, and therefore you cannot get that back. That is not a refundable amount. So if you're committed to the system, all you do is pay 50 into it and fund a car, and then work towards your next condition. Next condition is you are the proposer, and you need to bring in 1, 2, and 3 personally introduced members. That's it. You only need 3 like-minded people. Condition satisfied. And you don't need a 4th or a 5th person. It's great if you found them, but you don't need a 4th and a 5th person to introduce. Then Because you've introduced like-minded people, they would be repeating the same process. You need to ensure that you have a pool under the first person of 20 people minimum, under the second person also 20, and under the third person also 20. You need a minimum of 20, 20, 20 in each of your 3 new introduced pools, and you can find the balance 21 members anywhere else you like. So you need a total of 81 members to get a £20,000 total budget. 81 members are found 20 plus 20 plus 20, and 21 you can find anywhere else, whether in one pool, 2 pools, or all 3 pools, doesn't matter. Similarly, if you simply let that pool grow on its own, or even help it out, help your own team to keep growing their own respective funding pools, it'll keep expanding. When you have 30, 30, 30, and you find another 35 extra, a total of 125 members is what it takes for you to get a £30,000 total budget. So you need 125 members to get a £30,000 total budget. Of these 125 members, they need to be equally found in 3 pools as 30 plus 30 plus 30, and the balance 35 you can find anywhere, whether in the first, second, third, or all 3 pools. Then you get to re-enter and start all over again if you so choose. You don't have to, but it's an option. So then what happens is the system will pick the weakest pool you've got, and you'll get to re-enter in your weakest pool and start the same process all over again. Start with just 3 fresh, brand new people and continue to grow like you did the last pool. Now, in this case, 30, 30, 30 minimum in each pool, but one pool isn't growing so fast. It's only got 32 members. The next pool has 55, and the strong pool has 110 members. So clearly you will be placed in the weakest of your pools. You only needed 125 people to pay for your initial £30,000 car. That means the remaining members, now in this total pool you've got 197 members already. That means that their £50 are now beginning to pay towards the next person's car. Your car no longer requires any more funding. The strongest pool will grow on its own, doesn't need any help. The weakest pool will get your assistance by restarting a second pool, second funding position, a re-entry position at the weakest point, and no further money is coming towards your car if you've already achieved a car. Now you're growing a second pool of finance towards either a second car or other options. Now, the member's £50 no longer pays for your car, and it pays for somebody else's car. This is how everybody funds everybody else. What are your choices when you complete a re-entry pool? Very simple. You get to upgrade your car. Remember, you're driving either a £20,000 or a £30,000 car for 2 whole years. In the meantime, you've completed another pool. That means you've built up a budget of 20,000. So if you're driving a 20,000 car, you can then upgrade in year 3 and 4 to a £40,000 car. If you've been driving a £30,000 car, as in my case, you can simply upgrade, adding the 20,000 to a £50,000 car in year 3 and 4. This is how you can upgrade practically to as many levels as you want if you wanted to upgrade a car. If you didn't want to upgrade a car, instead of keeping that 20,000 budget aside for the end of 2 years, you can immediately start drawing £1,000 a month advertising bonus as a club advertising active member. You cannot have an upgraded car as well as cash. It's either or. So if you take this cash, you get to keep your first car. You keep renewing your first car every 2 years, and the rest is just income, but you do not get to upgrade. Or you may want a second car, so you keep your original £20,000 car and add a second car for your spouse, partner, or somebody in the family. If you had a £30,000 car, you can renew it using your first pool, but the second pool, your re-entry that is completed, now has the ability to give you a second car for a family member. So you have multiple cars, or income, or upgrade of your existing car. These are your 3 main choices if you choose to come in at a re-entry position. Clearly, if one re-entry completion, gives you £1,000 cash. You can do the maths. How many re-entries would you like to complete in the next 2 years? And as many as you complete, that many thousands of pounds you can have as monthly income, which is an advertising bonus. It is not really income. It is an advertising premium given to you for being a hardworking and committed member of the club. The company structure is very straightforward. You can find it on Companies House, company number 108-26920, registered in the United Kingdom. It's comprising of primarily a holding company, which will own all of the rolling stock, which are the cars, and that's where the £199 goes in. And as this rolling stock holding company, asset management, office management, and services company continues to grow in size, we can consider having our own dealership, our own brand of insurance, and at some point in the future, we could even buy a whole car manufacturer and have our own cars. The second silo is the club, which is essentially a partnership of all of our members. We are all equal shareholders effectively in terms of where the assets are concerned. All of us have a share in the car as long as we are members of the club. Everybody owns a small little part of each car. This is where the 50 monthlies come in, and this is the cash flow generating engine of the system, and this is where the asset funding source is, which then pays for the rolling stock, which are the cars in silo number 1. There will be a third silo in the future. We plan to launch an asset-backed cryptocurrency, which will be one of the very few cryptocurrencies backed by real physical assets. So its valuation of this cryptocurrency will be a direct function of and will be a reflection of the total asset size in the first two parts of the company structure. CEO Andy Wall, we've already launched in the United Kingdom. This is what will cost you £199 to start and every year, plus £50 monthly. In Ireland, it's €240 plus €60 monthly. In the United States, it's $255 plus $75 monthly. Same logic applies, same numbers apply, except the currencies are different, so therefore the amounts are different. Hopefully soon we'll launch in a few select European countries. We are considering Mexico and Canada, but we will not be launching anytime soon just because we first need to properly establish in the United Kingdom. Mission successful. Alan is the first person to have successfully crowdfunded his car in the world, and he's got himself an Audi Q3. Devon has a Mercedes CLA. I have a VW Passat, and I think these are the right colors anyway. And this is the proof anyone was ever looking for. People thought, well, where's the money going? Well, this is where the money is going. This is over $100,000 worth of rolling stock, £90,000 worth of cars where members' money has actually paid for units that will be driven by other members. And this is exactly where crowdfunding comes in. We are successful. We needed only one example, but guess what? We are having 3 examples on a stage to present to the world that this is 100% cash funded, crowd-funded, cash paid, debt-free, including local taxes and fully comprehensive insurance. It's a no-brainer of a system. Silence the critics. Well, a lot of people do question, well, what about the other members? When will they qualify? When will they get the account? Well, it's straightforward. You don't have to be the first person, and you don't have to be the last person in the system to join. Your business is strictly based on your effort. So the qualifying conditions are equal for everybody. It doesn't matter when you join. As long as you satisfy all the conditions, you could be driving a car sooner than many other members. It's as simple as that. The conditions are the same for everybody. Nobody gets any kind of special treatment. So it doesn't matter. You could be a member for 1 year and have done nothing. Obviously, you're not getting a car. But you could be a member and start building this crowdfunding pool on day 1, and you would be already on your way to achieving a car within your set target. It could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever, but it is possible. 0 commissions are paid, so we break no laws in doing this kind of a system simply because there is no money exchanging hands from one person to another via the company. All it does is collect people's money and fund a car, and the car of choice is chosen by the privileged member who has qualified and satisfied the conditions in order to collect their car first. That's as simple as that. Not one, but three cars. And this is our proof of concept already to be unleashed. What you need to know is that this is a reward-based crowdfunding platform. So there is a reward at the end of your effort of raising a crowd. If you want the crowd to fund your car, you need to arrange a crowd. If there is no crowd, there can be no crowdfunding. So that crowd begins with just 3 people. That's all it takes, and then it expands because those 3 people need to satisfy their own qualifying conditions also. So you need like-minded people. There is no cash gifting involved. No commissions are paid, so we don't break any of those rules surrounding cash gifting. This is a hybrid networking and private members club. So it is a private members club, but it is hybrid type of networking because, yes, you do need to reach out to people and tell them that we exist. And if they're interested in crowdfunding their own car, yes, they can do it and cut their car expenditure by 90% in many cases, even less or more in some cases. Asset management company is what we really are. As we have now 3 cars, those are the assets. Going forward, when we have 6, 9, 10, 20 cars, that is the total size of assets held by the club, and we as members of the club have a shared interest in the assets. Therefore, we are really an asset management company. It is continuous crowdfunding. It requires more and more people to join. The United Kingdom has 36 million drivers. 750,000 people apply for a driving test each year. There is no lack of membership. All you have to do is reach out to people that are willing to fund their cars in this particular method and avoid the banks altogether. The website helps you to sign up and track your progress. That's primarily why we have a system in place where we are able to track each person's effort, and we use a website to do that. You can do offline and online introductions. You can use any other methods you like, provided you comply with our terms and conditions and our policies. Consider this. When you have a car loan from a bank, it's usually other people's money which they have deposited into the bank. Banks have no money of their own. So other people's, strangers' money comes into the bank. Bank gives them very little interest for their deposit, converts their deposit into a loan to you, and then charges you through the nose to pay for that loan. So this is exactly what we're doing, except we are cutting out the middleman. We know the people who are funding us. You can name them individually, and all this mixed bag of people is what makes up a small community, a crowd that ends up funding the car directly, bypassing the banks altogether. So instead of paying interest to a bank and making the bank profitable, what we're doing is we get the crowd to fund the car, and the car is then a shared owned asset of the same crowd, but a one member gets to drive it, and the member that gets to drive it is the privileged member who qualified for their respective car. All you have to do is rise up from this crowd with the help of the crowd, with the proviso that you will also help them back. From amongst this crowd, you get to be a privileged member, and you even know your crowd. You can name them, and you know who they are, and you know exactly in what method you've used their money, other people's money, to fund your car, which is essentially what banks do. Every loan from a bank is other people's money anyway. Thank you for watching. Please get back to the person that shares this video with you, and if you have any questions, please do ask them. We do regular hangouts, we do regular presentations, meetings all over the UK, Ireland, and in the United States. If you're interested, do come along and ask all the questions you have. This is a groundbreaking new concept, and therefore we expect it to go viral sometime very soon. If you can catch the vision of where we are something like Airbnb at its very early stages. If you'd like to be part of a revolution, this is the perfect time to join. By all means, get back to the person that shares this video and do join us. You cannot regret. For a small outlay and a little bit of effort, you cannot regret being the proud and privileged owner or driver of a brand new car for the rest of your life replaced every 2 years. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.